If you are out there and you are looking for a bank personal loan that offers pre-approval without a hard pull, you are at the right spot. In today's conversation, I want to share with you the top 5 personal loans that offer pre-approval without a hard pull. And I'm talking about massive loan amounts here, okay? Don't you go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sort of Giveaway Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee, or tea, or vodka, and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to share with you the top 5 bank personal loans that offer pre-approval without a hard pull. Number 5, we have Regions. Our score, 8.3 over 10. So one thing we love about Regions is that they're actually a regional bank. They're not a big national bank, but they're still good, okay? They are actually headquartered in Birmingham, Alabama, and they have over 1,500 branches across the South and the Midwest United States. And what we love about Regions is the customer service. They're really great. They have a great customer service. And the cool thing here is that if you are looking for a bank personal loan that actually pre-approves you rather, without a hard pull, Regions could be a good opportunity. So they have an unsecured loan, and that's what we're actually focusing on today's conversation. And the thing is, if you have a bad credit, fair credit, good credit, or excellent credit, you can qualify as long as you have a strong relationship with Regions, okay? And the cool thing here is that we are talking about maximum loan amount of $35,000. So we are talking about $2,000 minimum to $35,000. So you can see that this is a very large delta, right? So, and the cool thing also when we think about Regions is that besides the customer service, they actually are pretty good in terms of their dashboard. So you see everything when you log into your account. You have everything. You can see your loan amount. You can see the payments due. You can actually monitor. They also offer free credit score monitoring. So this is really good. The only thing we don't like in the Regions is that they actually, sometimes they could be conservative in terms of approving loans, especially if you don't have a relationship with them. They really want you to have a relationship with them. If you don't have an account with them and you are applying for a loan or a line of credit or a credit card or whatnot, your chances of approval might actually be reduced, okay? So the game plan, here's the game plan. The game plan is that you want to open an account with the Regions if you already don't have such a relationship, and you want to wait for 3 months or 6 months before you apply for the personal loan, okay? But Regions, 8.3 over 10. Number 4, we have TD Bank. Our score, 8.6 over 10. One thing we love about TD Bank is that they are basically, they are also great in terms of customer service, but they innovate all the time. I mean, this bank, it's amazing. They come up with new products all the time. And so if you are on the East Coast of the United States and you actually, you would love to have a bank that is diversified enough, TD Bank could be a great candidate, okay? And they were actually one of the 10 largest banks in the United States, okay? They have over 1,200 locations, okay? That's pretty good in the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and Washington, D.C. metro area. And they are also in the Carolinas and Florida, okay? And they offer secured and unsecured personal loans and lines of credit to actually, the loan amount we're speaking about, $2,000 all the way to $50,000. And they offer a pre-approval feature. In other words, you have a soft pull, so nobody's going to check your ass. Nobody's doing a hard pull on your ass, okay? So you have a soft pull, so no harm to your credit score. This is really good. You can check it out if you really are interested. And but just remember that TD Bank is not available in all 50 states. They're not. And they also charge you a $50 origination fee, okay? And if you don't have a relationship with TD Bank, you can still get a loan, okay? Unlike Regions. However, you might have to pay more in interest. In other words, if you currently have a relationship with TD Bank, you might have a 0.25 or 0.5% in terms of auto pay discount. Okay. And so they offer, when we talk about TD Bank, we have a lot of loans that they offer. They offer you TD Express personal loan, the unsecured personal loan. What? Oh yeah, they offer unsecured loan. Yeah, they even offer unsecured line of credit. Okay, but if you are interested in a secured loan, they have that too. Okay, so if you want to get a loan from TD Bank, you can apply online, you can apply over the phone, you can visit one of their locations throughout the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, Washington, D.C. metro area, the Carolinas, and Florida. Okay, so if you're in South Carolina or North Carolina, you can actually you can go to a branch and just apply there if that works for you. Okay, their customer service is, I would say, average, and that's one thing that TD Bank has to work on. I mean, in some places they are good, but overall, they have to keep working on that. Okay, so TD Bank personal loans are great for borrowers who want a fixed rate loan that funds within 48 hours, people who want the option of completing a loan application in person at a bank branch. Okay, and if you live in an area that is covered by TD Bank. Number 3, folks, we have here Marcus. Our score 9/10. So when you think about Marcus, actually Marcus is a unit of Goldman Sachs. Okay, one of the largest investment banks. And so people say Marcus by Goldman Sachs. So And the cool thing about Marcus is that you actually can check if you are approved. You can go through a pre-approval process, okay, with a soft pull to see if something works for you. And so here are the pros and cons of this loan product. The pros: there is no origination, late payment, insufficient fund or prepayment fees. Okay, they offer direct payment to third-party lenders, and borrowers can change their payment date up to 3 times over the life of the loan. This is really good. What about the cons here? Well, they don't allow co-signers or co-applicants, so you can only apply on your own. Okay, and you cannot use the loan to refinance an existing student loan. Okay, and they want you overall to have I would say good to excellent credit scores. The thing is, if you have a bad credit score, you can't qualify for Marcus. You want to look elsewhere. Okay, and one thing we love with Marcus is that you want to have, they basically, given the fact that they are actually related to one of the top investment banks in the country, you have a lot of history there. You have a lot of excellence. They have great customer service. Now, having said that, their requirements are a little high in terms of FICO. They want to start looking at you around 660. If you are below 600, don't even try. Okay, unless again you have a good cash flow position. So you can use a Marcus loan for a lot of reasons. Okay, you can use it for debt consolidation, for home improvement, for wedding, okay, for moving and relocation, for vacation, for instance. Also, they don't have a problem with that. Now there are some prohibited uses, so you cannot use, as I just said, refinancing student loans are not permitted. Illegal activity, of course. Business purposes and home purchases. Okay, so you cannot get a Marcus loan to start a business, for instance. And the loan amounts oscillates from $3,500 to $40,000. So we're looking at $3,500 to $40,000. Okay, and the repayment period up to 36 to 72 months. So 3 years to 6 years, okay? And there are some perks and features that you might want to enjoy with this loan. You have one-time payment reward, and you have flexible payment dates, okay? So you kind of you have to think about that. And if you want to apply for a Marcus personal loan, you can submit your personal information and pre-qualify, okay? You can choose your personal loan, and you can complete your application. Everything happens online, okay? There is no branch. I mean, they have some branches, but they're still small in terms of their brick and mortar branch, but they have an online presence, and things happen mostly online. Number 2, folks, we have here Discover. Our score 9.2/10. So when you think about Discover, you want to think about a leader in credit card issuance. I mean, they are pretty strong in credit cards, but they are also kicking ass. They're kicking some ass also when it comes to banks to personal loans. Okay, here are the pros and cons of Discover. So, for the pros, you have an option to pay off creditors directly. They have no origination fees or prepayment penalties, and you can use the money for a wide range of purposes. We really love that. And what about the cons? They do charge late fees. There is no discount for enrolling in automatic payments, and you have a low maximum loan amount. That's the only thing you have to think about. So Discover is really great for consumers who need a small loan, okay? Because the minimum here is $2,500. Did you get that? $2,500, okay? And the maximum is $35,000. So we're looking at a delta of $2,500 to $35,000, okay? And so Discover actually also offers flexible repayment terms, and customers can use funds for a wide constellation of uses. So debt consolidation, home improvements, auto repairs, medical bills, vacation expenses, wedding costs, adoption and fertility costs, okay, all kinds of uses. Small business expenses, not a problem, okay. Discover they don't offer a business loan, so you can use their personal loan for a business purposes. And in terms of the prohibited uses, if you cannot use the money for post-secondary education, for the repayment of a secure loan, of a repayment of a Discover credit card. Okay, so those are things you need to think about. And so unsecured personal loans from Discover run from $2,500 to $35,000 in all 50 states. This is the cool thing here, okay? And loan terms, you have a 36, 48, 60, 72, and even 84 months. That's 7 years. This is really good. So the APR actually ranges from 5.99 to 24.99%, okay? And there are no origination fees, prepayment fees, prepayment penalty fees, none of them. And in terms of perks and features, you have a 30-day money-back guarantee, okay? In case you don't like the loan anymore, you want to get out, that's fine. They have a direct payment to creditors. They have payment flexibility, and they also offer the credit score card. So you can actually, you have free access to your credit score, and you can see this every month. That's a problem. That's no problem. So if you want to qualify for a Discover personal loan, they have, in terms of FICO, they're looking at 600. Income, they're looking at the 18,000 to 25,000, depending where you live, okay? But if you want to apply for a Discover personal loan, make sure that you estimate monthly payments. You want to pre-qualify. You want to complete the application. You want to await approval. And if everything is fine, just sign the loan agreement, receive the funds, and start making payments. Very simple. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another session of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We're also having a conversation today about the top 5 bank personal loans that offer pre-approval without a hard pull. And now I want to talk to you about number 1, the best of the best in our view. We have Wells Fargo. Our score, 9.8 over 10. Yeah, this is really high. Okay, let me give you a few pros and then talk about a few cons when it comes to Wells Fargo. The pros. Well, approved borrowers can receive funds as soon as the next business day. You're talking about a turnaround of 24 hours. Really, really good. Especially coming from a behemoth such as Wells Fargo. Okay, there are no origination fees or prepayment penalties, and you can use the loan for a wide range of purposes. They too do not restrict what you can use the money for. Okay, and in terms of cons, new Wells Fargo customers must visit a branch to apply. So if you're a newbie in Wells Fargo's ecosystem, you definitely want to apply at a branch. An auto-pay discount requires having a Wells Fargo checking account. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And online reviews are largely negative. Now, the only thing is that those are legacy reviews, because Wells Fargo, they have been, they started a lot of turnaround lately in terms of the customer service. So they're constantly working on that. Okay. Now, Wells Fargo is a big national bank. Okay. And the cool thing is that the loan is best for a lot of users. And the only thing is, even though they are a big national bank, there are certain places where they don't have a physical brick and mortar presence. Having said that, you can still apply online, not a problem. So, for instance, they're not in Indiana, they're not in Kentucky, Louisiana. Shout out to my people in Louisiana. You have Ohio, Oklahoma, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, Missouri, New Hampshire, Vermont, West Virginia. Just shout out to my family in West Virginia also. So if you live in those areas, in those states, you can still qualify for Wells Fargo loan if you applied online. Okay. So here are the permit you can use the money for: debt consolidation, home improvements, auto repairs, medical bills, vacation expenses, and other large purposes. Okay. You cannot use the money for home purchase or education related expenses. Okay. So when we talk about the Wells Fargo, here is the wonderful thing about this loan. You are looking at $3,000 to $100,000. Oh yeah, boss. Yeah, boss. Yes, boss. Yes, boss. $3,000 to $100,000. Okay, and you are looking at a maturity line from 12 months to 84 months, 1 year to 7 years. Fantastic. And the APR goes from 5.74% to 19.99%, including a 0.25% relationship discount. Okay, and so there are rate discounts. There are actually no origination fees. There are no prepayment penalties. Okay, and you might have to pay late fees though if you miss payments. Okay, and you have flexibility in terms of payments, and they also offer in-person banking. So to qualify for a Wells Fargo personal loan, you want to have a FICO score around 600. Also, you want to have a income around $18,000. Okay, and they actually they do not allow co-signers on personal loan. So this is something you need to know. But to apply for this kind of loan, see what rate you are likely to qualify for. Complete the application. You await approval. You sign the loan agreement, receive the funds, and start making payments. Before I actually close to this conversation, I want to give you an overview, because obviously we have just talked about banks that actually have loans for you that pre-qualify you without a hard pull. This is really good, and this is what you systematically want to look for. Unless you have great credit, unless you have stellar credit, you want to look for pre-qualification. This has to become second nature to you. Okay, and you really want to check whether you qualify for a bank loan. And the thing is that bank loans generally go from $1,000 to $100,000, with $100,000 being Wells Fargo, and in some cases Lightstream, the online division of Truist. Okay, and it's important to check whether you qualify for a bank loan. You want to compare rates on bank loans. This is the cool thing about going through a soft pull. You have pre-approval so that you don't waste no time and you don't harm your credit by applying. Okay, because the whole thing is you want to compare rates on the loans. Okay, you also want to compare also the fees in case they're actually charging your fees. And after you do that, after you do everything, you're comfortable about the loan, submit your application for the loan, and you want to do it for real. You can do it at the branch, you can do it online, you can do it over the phone. The cool thing about bank loans is that if the bank has national coverage or has regional coverage, and you happen to live in the vicinity of a branch, you can actually walk into a branch and have a conversation with the live person. This is totally doable. Okay, and so you want to really think about, on the loan application, you want to have a certain pieces of information ready, because they're going to ask you about your personal details. I'm speaking about, let's say, your name, your address, your phone number, and date of birth. Okay, those are basic pieces of information. Loan details, including the desired loan amount, because you need to talk about how much you want, right? You can't be just like, the maximum is 100,000, so I want to qualify for 100,000. You don't need that much money anyway in loan, of course. Okay, so loan purpose, you need to explain why you need the money, and the repayment term. Okay, you got to put your social security number, proof of employment and income, information about current debts, okay, and information about monthly expenses, including housing cost, because your income and information about your current debts will help them actually calculate your DTI, okay, and your debt to income ratio. So once you are approved for the loan, you will receive the loan agreement, okay. And remember that some banks want you to visit their local branch to sign the loan agreement. others want you to sign things automatically online. So this is totally possible. So once everything is fine, you'll receive the funds. Before I close today's conversation, I want you to hear this pro tips, okay? And the pro tips are here to help you actually navigate the system, or navigate the credit system easily, especially when you are applying for a loan at banks, which are historically conservative, right? I just want to talk to you about the 5 C's. You need to see where you stand financially before applying for a loan, okay? And the 5 C's kind of help you. They're kind of like the fulcrum on which you build your credit worthiness. You build your loan application. They are the cornerstone that you need to actually look at. And that cornerstone, that foundation has 5 legs. So when we talk about 5 C's, we are speaking about your credit history, okay? We're speaking about your capacity. I'll go through the details later on. What? Yeah, no, don't worry. I'll just define. I'll first want to define them, and then I'll just elaborate. Okay. So we have collateral, we have capital, and conditions. So that's the 5 C's: credit history, capacity, collateral, and capital and conditions. So your credit history, everybody knows that, right? Your FICO score, and that's important because your FICO score is a reflection of your credit worthiness. So the bank wants to make sure that you have been responsible for your cash in the past, and that you are more likely to be responsible for the cash they are about to give you in the future. So that's for credit history. Your capacity really is actually the probability that you will consistently be able to make payments on a new credit account. So this actually, this capacity takes into account your DTI, your debt to income ratio, right? Because they actually want to make sure that you are able to repay the new debt that you are about to contract. And you want to be around 30 to 35% in DTI so that the bank can look at you as a less risky proposition. In terms of collateral, now in today's conversation, all the loans that I just shared with you, those are unsecured loan, okay? Unsecured loans, they're not collateralized. So, but if you want to boost your chances of approval, you can actually propose to the bank to actually pledge collateral. That's fine. So that if you don't actually make good on your payments, they'll just come and seize the asset. And the 4th C is capital. Okay, so basically, the lenders evaluate the capital you have when you apply for a large credit account like a mortgage, home equity, or personal loan account. So capital represents the asset you could use to repay a loan if you lost your job or experienced a financial setback. Okay, so capital is typically your savings, right? Your rainy day accounts, your investments, your retirement accounts, all that kind of stuff. But it also may include the down payments you make when you purchase a home. Okay. And what about the conditions? So the conditions, so that's the 5th C. This refers to a variety of factors that a bank may consider before extending credit. Okay. So how you plan to use the proceeds from the loan or credit account, how your loan amount, interest rate, and term may be impacted by market conditions or the state of the economy. Okay, so other factors that may impact your ability to repay the debt. For example, a mortgage lender wants to know if the property you're buying is in a flood zone or in an area prone to wildfires. So those are things that relate to conditions. So before I actually close to this conversation, I want to share with you our approach. Okay, we do have a strong approach on this show when it comes to categorizing loans, when it comes to reviewing loans, and when it comes to listing loans. Check this out. All right, let's do a quick recap here. So in today's conversation, I've spoken with you about the top 5 bank personal loans that offer pre-approval without a hard pull. Number 1, Wells Fargo, 9.8 over 10. Number 2, we have here Discover, 9.2 over 10. Number 3, we have Marcus by Goldman Sachs, 9 over 10. Number 4, we have TD Bank, 8.6 over 10. Number 5, last but not the least, we have Regions. Our score, 8.3 over 10. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate that. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.